Chapter 5 Illumination of Divine Name. As I reached the precincts of the temple, my steps became steady and slow. I heard a musical voice reciting the hymns, which thrilled me, but the words were not clear. I was surprised that the recitation from the Guru Granth Sahib had begun much earlier. I wondered who was in the temple so early, reciting the hymns in such melodious and moving strains. As soon as I entered the temple and bowed before the Guru Granth Sahib in reverential homage, these words were being recited.
वे मोहताया ये परवाह, नानक दास कहो गुरुवाह. Carefree and unconcerned is the Lord. Saith Nanak, repeat Vahguru.
The last word, Vahguru, had a magnetic effect on my mind. Every nerve, every pore of my body was imbued with the thrilling music of the mystic word Vahguru. It appeared some unstruck music had keyed up my soul to the melody of this word. Every hair on my body was now a tongue which repeated this name. I was then at the door of the temple hall. Some unknown power pushed me in an instant, and I was lying prostrate before the Guru Granth Sahib the next moment. The voice which was reciting the hymns was heard no more. I stood up and with folded hands greeted the holy presence. To my great surprise, I saw some unseen hand waving the chowri over the Guru Granth Sahib, and just below the canopy there flashed forth a gleam of light, forming itself into the divine word Vahguru and moving in space throughout the temple.
My tender devotion and faith were now transmuted into love, and my love was now a living faith. There was no one in the temple except the Guru Granth Sahib and myself. I could not see the man nor the hand that waved the chowri. This strange vision raised my spirit and faith to the heights of sublimity. With my hands folded and head lowered, I stood there in utter humility. I performed circumambulations of Guru Granth Sahib in utter reverence. The priest, Granthi of the temple, came in at this moment. I covered my head with the blanket, and out of shyness, veiled my face also as I sat before the Guru Granth Sahib. "Who has performed the opening service of the Guru Granth Sahib? Did you?" he asked. I gazed at him, but could not give a reply. But now the waving of the chowri by an unseen hand could not be seen. Those words of light that shimmered in space also could not be seen. The Granthi's younger brother, who was a very devout soul, came in. The Granthi asked him if he had performed the opening service of the Guru Granth Sahib. He said no. I do not know what they thought or guessed.
Then the Granthi opened the Holy Granth to read a verse. I stood behind him to see the hymn he was reading. I was amazed to find the same hymn which had entered my ears when I came to the temple. I again prostrated myself in humble thanksgiving homage before the Word of God. The Granthi's brother was surprised to see me in such ecstatic condition. He came to me and asked me in a pathetic tone, "Why are you in such a state of mind?" "Pray for me and then open the Holy Granth to seek the divine command," I said. "I will offer the prayer," he replied, "and you can seek the divine command." I asked him to reveal the divine command by reopening the Holy Granth, and I would stand behind him and read it. To this he agreed. He first performed the Ardas, invocation prayer, with great fervor, and then opened the Holy Granth. The first passage on the left-hand page was to be accepted as the divine command. This was the verse.
Uttering Vahguru, Vahguru, the tongue is sweetened with the word. Through this perfect word, God meets man. The blessed ones are inspired to utter Vahguru, Vahguru. Beautiful are they who say Vah, Vah. Wondrous, wondrous art thou. People come to worship them. Through his grace is the mystic word Va-Guru attained. Saith Nanak, blessed are they at the door of the True One. After reading this passage, the mystic word was sealed on my tongue. I had no doubt that God in His mercy will reveal Himself to me sooner or later. Thus, the Guru Granth Sahib, my eternal teacher, revealed to me the most precious secret of the divine name. The Guru thus placed the precious pearl of divine name on the palm of my hand. I read rest of the hymn and learnt much more about the spiritual significance and mystery of the divine name, which can be summed briefly thus. God glorifies Himself through the mystic word Vah-Guru, and through this word He reveals Himself. I further realized that this was the true praise of the Lord, about which I read in the Japji. Through the mystic word Vah-Guru, the True One can be attained. Deeper experience of divine name. I was now convinced that this glorification or praise of the Lord would lead one to true spiritual union. I was tempted to read the Guru Granth Sahib further on. The hymns that followed revealed the greatness of glorifying God through His name. This was indeed the path of eternal bliss and spiritual communion with the Lord. This was the discipline which would inspire the mind with the will of God. Further on, it was clear that the mystic name was the symbol of truth, which the enlightened sages, Gurumukhs, can attain. It was also clear that this mystic name could be contemplated in many ways. With the tongue. 2. With the breath and mind. 3. With inner consciousness, by keeping the prana sakti, vital breath, controlled in the navel. By every method, one could attain the highest spiritual state. This hymn explained the importance and spiritual import of the divine name. The sublime spiritual state of those who contemplate His name is then described, and yet the hymn made it clear that only those people can contemplate the divine name to whom its spiritual significance is revealed by the Lord, and by contemplating the name, all the dirt of egoism is removed from the soul. The mystic power of the Word, the greatness, purity, and spiritual beauty of those who meditate on His name, the solace of their company, were all made clear by this hymn. To contemplate the name through speech, breath, and consciousness, and dedicate the body, mind, and soul to the divine teacher were all explained in this verse. Then, in the next verse, it was made clear that the divine name and the Lord who is named are one. Its immortalizing effect and its rich reward, particularly that of the realization of God, is stated in the closing verse of this hymn. Now it was clear that a Sikh, to please the Guru, must sing the glory of God with a single-minded devotion. The fear of death will then depart, and all that a virtuous mind desires is achieved. All my doubts about the mystic name were dispelled. I was convinced about real divine name to be contemplated in Sikh faith. The last line of the hymn suggested that this meditation of the presence of God through His name was to be practiced day and night. I had attained the experience of the mystic name. I was now anxious to attain the named one, that is, God Himself. I was now determined to tread the path of realization. The will to see His light and presence was now stronger than ever. I felt that courage, fortitude, and the will to achieve His presence had become a part of myself. At the time of my leaving the temple, the following verse was being read. Lead thou a life of spiritual effort, earn thy living and be happy. Through contemplation meet the Lord. Thus, O Nanak, will all doubt and despair depart. All my doubts had vanished. All the wavering of mind had ended. I cannot actually express the revelation of the inner meaning of the sacred hymn which I experienced. It is still deeply impressed on my mind and soul. I was happy that the divine name was revealed to me. I was happy that God had blessed me with the greater gift. I now sought solitude in which I could contemplate the name and practice the presence of God. In my heart there was continuously going on an effortless repetition of the mystic name I had just attained. With every breath, the drumbeat of the divine name was ringing in my soul. Wherever I went, this miraculous phenomenon continued. It appeared my heart and soul were keyed up to this sempiternal singing of the divine name.
Yet there was unbounded thirst to know the mystery of the infinite. I went to the office for some time and completed my day's work as a matter of formal duty. I came home at noon. I had not taken any food or drink till then, nor was inclined to eat anything. Without taking meals, I went into my room. I asked Ru Singh to take his food and not wait for me, as I was not feeling like eating anything. Bhai Ru Singh followed me. He was looking at me helplessly and urging me to eat something. I could see his sad and pitiable look and disappointment. So I politely told him that I did not feel hungry and went out again. I asked him to take his food and not to follow me. The green hills and valleys which presented beautiful natural landscape, the enchanting and soul-stirring sights of nature, and the infinite beauty of the Creator thrilled my whole inner self, and the effortless repetition of the divine name, which was going on in an undisturbed state of mind, went on with a deeper concentration and absorption of mind.
I did not know the different methods of contemplating the divine name. I had not learnt the various techniques of this spiritual practice from anyone. All I was eager to know was to have a glimpse of the Beloved. It was this burning passion to have a vision of His light that impelled and aroused my wavering thoughts and feelings to sublime spiritual heights and the straight path.
I had come to the place at about 3 p.m. Now the sun was about to set. Ru Singh found me out when darkness was about to fall. It was just the time for Ras, evening prayer. Ru Singh was reciting this prayer when he came and stood before me. He was reciting these lines.
Thou separatest, Thou unitest. Guru Ram Das. Read us.
These lines sounded in my ears as the sweetest, the loveliest, and the best. His presence also reminded me that it was time for evening prayer. I asked Bhai Ru Singh to recite the evening prayer all over again. As he recited it, I felt a great joy and peace. New inspiration and joy seemed to pour in to carry on the spiritual practice of repeating the name that was ceaselessly going on. After the prayer, Bhai Ru Singh persuaded me to go home. As soon as I had climbed the stairs of my house, I hurriedly went in and shut myself up in a room and started the repetition of the mystic name. The divine name was strung to my very breath. All the doubts and delusions and all the anxieties had disappeared. There was but one deep longing.
This poignant thirst became deeper and deeper, and my concentration on the mystic contemplation of the name increased. My mind was now free from critical reflections and doubts. I continued the repetition of the divine name. I was not disturbed by fatigue or any wavering thoughts. Many ways of performing the spiritual practice of the name spontaneously occurred to me. I went on with the practice in number of ways. With every upward and downward breath, a new method and a new mode of spiritual practice appeared intuitively in my consciousness. Whenever a little physical fatigue was felt, I used the iron beads for the spiritual practice. This determined repetition of the name with the iron rosary was of great help to me. My mind was strung into deep concentration by it. All fatigue and lassitude disappeared. The iron rosary transmitted a lightning power to my inner self and inspired unbroken repetition of the divine name. It went on for some time, and then there was a sudden illumination. Peace and silence reigned within my whole being.
I see my own real self.
My soul, Atman, appeared now to be quite distinct and apart from my body. Then I lost consciousness of the body completely. The music of the mystic name rang through my whole self. If I do not have ears, how do I hear? I thought. The next moment, I saw in the full blaze of high consciousness my own real self. With it came the visual realization of the fact, I am, and I am the Atman soul.
I felt sublime wonderment and spiritual exaltation on seeing my real self, my Atman. But this joy of seeing myself did not last long. It was overtaken by me deeper and more passionate thirst to see God. The mere realization of my own self did not satisfy me for long. My unquenchable thirst to see the light of God, my yearning to have a vision of the infinite Lord once more became my prime thought.